Welcome friends, let's take a look here at a variety of algebra questions. Let's get going. So, negative 2u minus 38 equals 2 times u minus 7. Let's solve this. So you're going to keep the negative 2u minus the 38. All you can do on the right side is just distribute the 2 over. So it becomes 2u, like this, minus 2 times the 7 this way. So then you continue. Negative 2u minus 38, not changing the left side at all. On the right side, then we have 2u minus 14. Now from here, what we want to do is gather the u's on one side and the constants on the other side. You can do this in a couple different ways. You can move the negative to u, or you can move the positive to u. So this is a positive to u. Just remember that, okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2u to both sides this way. I'm going to add a 2 here, and I'm also going to add a 2u here. So that's going to leave on the left side just negative 38, and on the right side I'm going to have 2u plus 2u, which is 4u, minus 14. Then I'm going to add 14 to both sides, so plus 14, and then basically plus 14 like this. So on the left side, you're going to end up with negative 24. On the right side, you're going to have 4u. Lastly, because you have 4 multiplying you, the opposite is division, so just multiply, divide negative 24 by 4. Same thing on the right side, 4u divided by 4, and you end up with negative 6 as the value of u. And this is an example of how to do this equation. It's not the only way. Some of the steps could be varied, but you should have negative 6 as the value of u at the end. Next, we're going to solve 1 equals y minus 2 over 6 plus 2y minus 6 over 3. Notice there's a 6 and a 3. Usually we don't like fractions. We try to get rid of them as quickly as possible. So what you want to do is the following. Form the LCM of 6 and 3. So write down the multiples of 6. Like the first multiple is 6 times 1, which is 6. The second one is 6 times 2, which is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, and so on, okay? Look at the multiples of 3, write those down. So, for example, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and stop. You can tell already that there's a 6 in this, and then also in this list. For that reason, what you want to do is just multiply the whole equation by 6 to clear all the fractions away. So, it's going to be 6 times 1 on the left side, and then 6 times y minus 2, hanging over 6, plus 6 times 2y minus 6, and then hanging over 3 this way. I'm multiplying every term by 6. Every term, not just one, not just the right, not just the left, all of them. Then simplify what you can. So 6 times 1 is 6. Here what you can do is, because 1 is in the top now and 1 is in the bottom, you can just cancel them off. That's going to leave only y minus 2. For the other one, that 6 that you're applying there, you got to cancel with the 3. So 6 divided by 3, one more time, 6 divided by 3 is going to give you a plus 2 times 2y minus 6. So what I've just done here is, this is an allowed move. If you have like 6 times 1/3, for example, it's the same as 6 over 3. So you can do the division and you get 2, see? All right, the fact that this is like a variable expression up here doesn't change it. You can still do the 6 divided by 3 to get this red 2 in that position. And then you continue, so it's going to be 6 is equal to y minus 2. Now distribute the red 2 only. Do not touch the y minus 2. So you're going to have 2 times 2y, which is 4y. And then the red 2 times the negative 6 is going to give you here a negative 12. Then you continue, so it's going to be 6 is equal to y. Well, let's gather up the y's on the right side. So you have a y positive and a y negative. That's going to give you a 5y, and then you have minus 2 minus 12. So I took this y, this is 1y. So 1y plus 4y is 5y. Then you have the negative 2 with the negative 12 left over. Negative 12. So then that's going to give you here 6 is equal to this. 5y minus 14. Because negative 2 minus 12 is negative 14. Then you got to solve this for y. So anyway you can do that. All you can do is just add 14 to both sides. So 6 plus 14 is equal to 5y. This is going to give you then that you have 6 plus 14, which is 20, equals 5y. And lastly, to cancel multiplying y by 5, you just divide by 5. So you're going to have 20 divided by 5 is equal to 5y divided by 5. Then you clean this up. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. 5y divided by 5 is 1y, or just y in other words. So y equals 4. This here is the answer to the equation. Just like up here, I want to be clear, right? U equals 6. This was the answer to the equation. U equals negative 6. Let's move on. Now this one's a bit different because here, let's say we want to solve for C. We want to solve for a letter. This is called a literal equation because you have a lot of letters. Okay, so you're going to solve for c. What you can do is just get rid of the a and the 6. So let me just be clear. When you say a, what it really means like positive a and plus 6, like this, plus 6 and then plus c. So we want to get rid of the a and the 6. You're going to do that through opposite operations as usual. So what I mean is you're going to do p, and then you're going to do minus a minus 6 is equal to a minus a plus 6 minus 6 plus c. So what I'm doing is basically, I'm subtracting here. So subtract a and 6 from both sides. Some people don't show it on both sides. You don't have to. Okay. Anyway, what's left over then is p minus a minus 6. This is equal to c. These ones here go away, right? Because a minus a is 0 and 6 minus 6 is also 0. This is one possibility. You can, for example, solve for c. Another one, solve for a. Try that, why not? So p is equal to a plus 6, let's see, plus c. So you want to isolate a. That means you got to take the 6 to the left side, take the c to the left side. So it's going to be p minus 6 minus c is equal to a. Again, because a is being solved for, then the positive 6 becomes negative 6. The positive c on the left side becomes negative c. That's all. And then basically this would be like the answer here. All right, same thing over here, like for the previous step. This would be considered the answer in this position. Let's move on. All right, so here, again, we can solve for one of these letters. Again, this is called, let me remind you, so literal equation. Okay. For example, we can say solve for x. We can begin with that move. So isolate x, in other words. What you can do is observe this. You can rewrite things. Remember this basic rule of multiplication, okay? Remember this basic rule. So, like when you have a, b, c, it's the same as if you did a, b times the c, or you could do a times b, c. You can group any way that you like. It makes no difference. You can move things around. It makes no difference. So what I mean is, you can, for example, do it as, let's see, c, a, and then the b over here, you see? It doesn't matter how you group. It doesn't matter where you position the factors involved in the multiplication. So let's say we want to solve for x. So what I can do is I can write this first of all as x times 2y. So I'm isolating the x from the 2y, the 2y within the parentheses. This is equal to w. Now I recognize that x is multiplying 2y. So opposite of multiplication is division. So divide by 2y on both sides, as always. That's the standard procedure. So x times 2y, right, divided by 2y is equal to w divided by 2y. So now, on the left side, let me carry this out. This 2y cancels with that 2y. And all that remains is x equals w divided by 2y. That's a way to do it. Imagine with the same one. So in other words, imagine we had 2xy equals w. Imagine we want to do this, solve for y. Same principle applies. If you like, you can separate off the 2x from the y with parentheses if it helps you. Or not, everybody's different. So then, the 2x is separate from the y, so we see you have to divide both sides by 2x to get y by itself. So in other words, it's going to be 2xy, and then you're going to divide by 2x, and then you're going to divide the right side also by 2x. And then take this, right, and take this, and those will go away. So all that remains is y is equal to w over 2x this way. And that's it. That's the question. It's solved. This is the answer. There's nothing else to be done here. Same thing with this one back here, right? This is also the answer. Let me spell that correctly. Okay, answer. So here we have 5 over 7x minus 3 over 2x equals 1. Okay, so again, 7x and 2x are different. They have different different expressions. So if you like, write the multiples of 7x. 7x times 1 is 7x. 7x times 2 is 14x. Probably a good place to stop. Let's not go too far. Then write the multiples of 2x. So 2x times 1 is 2x. 2x times 2 is 4x. 2x times 3 is 6x, right? Dot, dot, dot. Like all the way to 2x times 7 is also equal to 14x, you see? All the way at the end. That's good. So that means that the 14x can be used to multiply the whole equation and clear everything away. So what I mean is, now take your 14x and just multiply every term by it that you see. So on the left side, you're going to write this. So 14x is going to multiply 5 over 7x minus 3 over 2x. On the right side, you're going to have 1 times 14x this way. Then you distribute this 14x. So it's going to look like this. You have to be really careful here. So 14x times 5 over 7x minus 14x times 3 over 2x is equal to 1 times 14x, which is 14x. Now, what you can do is you can put the 14x over the 7x times the 5. You can take this and you can rewrite it this way as equivalent. It means the same thing. Minus 14x, and then divided by 2x times the remaining 3, and at the end you still have 14x. Now work on these. 14 divided by 7 is 2, x divided by x is 1, and then times the remaining 5. So you have 2 times 1 times 5, that's it. 14x divided by 2, again, 14 divided by 2 is 7, x divided by x is 1, and then the 3 remains, so times 3, and on the right side you still have 14x. So now I just work on these. 2 times 1 times 5 is going to give you a 10. Right, 7 times 1 times 3 is going to give you a 21, and this is equal to 14x. Okay, I'm going to pick back up over here. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's going to give you a difference now of negative 11 is equal to 14x. 10 minus 21 is negative 11. And then just divide lastly by 14. So it's going to give you, in other words, then that negative 11 divided by negative 11 here, I meant to say, divided by 14 is equal to x. And that's it. That's the answer. X equals negative 11 over 14. All right, let's move on. Okay, so what's the goal here? Well, imagine the goal for this one is solve for r. Again, this is a literal equation because it's n, it has r, and it has m. It has like 3 different letters. So we can try to solve for one of these letters, like r as an example. Okay, so again, you want to imagine this is m over 1, and on the right side you have n minus p divided by r minus 5 this way. And then just cross multiply because it is a proportion, so multiply this way. See, that's the cross multiplication step. You're going to have m multiplying r minus 5, and on the right side you will have 1 multiplying n minus p. All right, there we are. Now on the left side, you distribute the m, and on the right side distribute the 1. So you're going to have mr minus 5m is equal to just 1 times n, which is n. 1 times negative p is negative p, doesn't change anything. Now remember, the goal is to get r by itself. So this negative 5m has to be moved to the right side. So you're going to have mr minus 5m plus 5m is equal to n minus p plus 5m. So I'm adding 5m to both sides. On the left side, as you can see, these two will cancel off. Okay, so that means only mr is left over. And on the right side, it's n minus p plus 5m. Again, unlike terms. So just leave that expression on the right side of the equals. There's nothing else you can do with it. Lastly, you observe that the operation between the m and the r is multiplication. So what you can do is you can just divide because it's the opposite. You're going to write mr divided by m is equal to n minus p plus 5m divided by m this way. On the left side, one more time, this m right, will cancel with this m. So you're just left with r is equal to n minus p plus 5m divided by m, and that's it. So this is the answer. This is the answer in this context. So r is equal to n minus p plus 5m divided by m. That's a way to think about the answer. Let's move on. Okay, v squared equals 6. So this is a very elementary level 1 quadratic equation because you have v and it's a squared quantity. So it's like a level 1 elementary quadratic equation. To solve these, you just basically take square roots like this. So in other words, you're going to take the square root on the left side, and you're going to take the square root on the right side, and you make sure you have the plus or minus square root of 30. I meant to say 36, okay? I miscopied this. This was meant to be a 36, so it's clean. So now on the left side, this and these two will cancel, and you just have v left over to plus or minus 6. That's it. So there are two answers. V is positive 6, and v is negative 6. There are two separate answers for that reason. Why do you need both of them? Well, let me show you the check, so to speak, so you can see for yourself. Look, like check, so like positive 6 squared is 36. Right, so it checks with the original right side. But negative 6 squared is also 36. Again, it checks with the original positive 36 on the right side. So you need a positive and a negative for that reason when you take this square root on this side. Not just the positive, both positive and negative. Now let's solve this last one. It says 5x plus 15 in absolute value is equal to 10. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, remember, the absolute value operates like this. Like an absolute value if x is equal to 5, then this can be true if x is negative 5 or x is equal to positive 5, because when you take the absolute value, you get positive 5 as the output in both cases. So we're going to use you're going to use that here as follows. Take a look. You take whatever the expression is, 5x plus 15 without the bars, and you first set it equal to positive 10. In other words, let me show you a step, right? The only way to have an output of 10 ultimately is if either you have positive 10 already between the bars, or you have between the bars negative 10. And because here we have an expression, 5x plus 15, that means that the 5x plus 15 has to either be equal to the 10, or 5x plus 15 has to be equal to the negative 10, like that. And then you unwrap it and you get x from that process. So let's solve this. Here you could divide the 5 away if you wanted to. So if you divide 5 from every term, you can. 5x divided by 5 is x. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then 10 divided by 5 is 2. So you end up with x plus 3 equals 2. That simpler equation. Okay, let me not go too fast. What I just did is this. I took 5x and divided by 5. That's 15 divided by 5, and then 10 divided by 5, like this. That's allowed. So 5 divided by 5 is 1x, 15 divided by 5 is 3, 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then just subtract 3 from both sides. So x is 2 minus 3, and therefore x is negative 1. That's one of the solutions. Okay, let's look at the second equation now. Again, you can divide both sides by 5. So you're going to have 5x divided by 5 plus 15 divided by 5 equals negative 10 divided by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is again 1x, or just x in other words. 15 divided by 5 is 3 again, and then negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. Now subtract 3, so x would be negative 2 minus 3. So x would be negative 5. Do these work? Well, take a look, right? So like x equals negative 1. You can check with it if you like. So it's going to be an absolute value. So it's going to be 5 times negative 1 plus 15. The question is, does this equal to positive 10 or not? So work through it. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 plus 15. The question is, does this equal to 10? So negative 5 plus 15 in absolute value is 10. Right? Does this equal to 10? Well, yeah, the absolute value of 10 is 10, and that is certainly equal to 10. So it checks. Right? Try with x equals, where am I here? Let's see, negative 5. So plug it in. See whether you get the 10 to come out or not. So again, you're going to do now the following. Look carefully. Let's see. So 5 times negative 5 plus 15. Does this equal to 10? That's what we are checking. Let me move this over, scoot this over a little bit. Okay, so an absolute value. This is negative 25 plus 15. Does this equal to 10? Well, take a look. Negative 25 plus 15 is negative 10. So it's not an accident. It's negative 10, you see? I also said negative 10 right here. All right. Does this equal to, does this equal to positive 10? The absolute value of negative 10 is 10. So 10 equals 10. This is certainly true. That means that x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 1. Right? This is a solution. And then this x equals negative 5 is another solution. And these are the steps required to find these. I believe that is all for this one. So thank you so much for watching, friends. I hope it's been helpful, insightful. Please leave a like, please subscribe. I'll see you in another video.